So this vertical smoker build is complete, and I'll use the term vertical smoker loosely. It's actually more of a Kamado cooker, even though it doesn't look like a Kamado cooker like what I got in the corner there. Basically it's inspired by one, as this is insulated with clay, or aka kitty litter in my case, because it's easy to work with. Provides a good thermal mass, and what thermal mass does is it radiates, it stores energy and it radiates the heat back into the cooker. But it can also act as a little bit like insulation, as opposed to using just say pure insulation for the walls. The kitty litter acts as thermal mass, which is really great for retaining heat. So that's why this is more of a Kamado cooker as opposed to just a smoker, although it might just look like a smoker. So let me just get to some of the exterior and the parts, and then I'll go over the interior. So this is the side table, and basically it's got a French cleat system here, so that it can be put down and raised back up. So that's really handy, nice and strong too. Piece of pine stained and varnished with some exterior varnish. It's got an opening on either side here for rotisserie attachment later, so I can have a rotisserie rod go all the way through on both sides. I have to still add that part. Heavy duty casters that I got at Harbor Freight. A bottom shelf here which can hold all my fire poking and tong utensils. This is the intake. It's made out of some 1-inch bar stock with a piece of 1/2-inch bar stock in behind, so it creates a channel so it can slide. You can kind of see it right here on the bottom. So I can open it up all the way, get lots of good airflow, or I can shut it off and completely choke it off. Just some bolts for now as to act as the handles. So I have a thermometer that I tapped and put through. I had to make sure to get one that had a long enough thermometer or sensor or probe, I should say. Locking mechanism is just a piece of bar stock with a piece of angled steel, a little stopper here, so when I open it, it has a place to rest. The handle so I don't burn my hand on the handle. It's a nice chipping hammer from a welding chipping hammer. So I got 2 of those, one for the top, one for the bottom. The exterior smokestack is a piece of dryer vent, removable of course. I won't bother to really remove it right now, or I guess I just removed it. Might be hard for me to get back on. I'll put it on here in a second. Okay, I put it back on. The top of the smoker, or I should say cooker, pardon me, is a piece of 16 gauge sheet metal tapped all the way around with so it's removable, and then I have holes on each wall so that it can be filled with kitty litter, or I should say is filled with kitty litter for the thermal mass. The doors I have yet to fill. I'm not sure if I'm going to fill those yet. I'm going to see how well it operates. I'll probably be more concerned with that in the winter if I'm doing any amount of smoking in the winter. Okay, so the exterior completely made out of 16 gauge sheet steel. It doesn't need to be as high temperature. It doesn't need to be able to resist heat that much because it won't warp. I should also mention that this was completely put together with a welder. I used a stick welder. However, you could probably get away with just tapping, getting a tap and die set and tapping holes and then bolting the panels onto the frame. And I'll talk about the frame here next. So yeah, so this top panel is removable. The doors and the frame itself of the cooker is completely 1 by 1 by 1/8 square stock and square tubing. So it's hefty. This is a hefty machine. So I built a rectangle, and you can check that out in my build video. So I built a box all the way around and then lined the inside with 14 gauge sheet steel because it's a little thicker It's a step down from 1/8. I didn't want to go 1/8 because it'd make it way too heavy. So the inside's all 14 gauge, exterior's all 16 gauge, except for the bottom. Down here, this is a piece of 1/4-inch plate. When I did a test run of it, the heat actually warped the 1/8, the 14 gauge sheet steel. It actually warped it, so I put in a piece of 1/4-inch plate, no issues at all now. And then this here is a stop for the ash, so this was welded in. And then also here in the center for where the doors meet, so that I can get a good airtight seal. Which leads me to the next part. This is the gasket, or all the way around. It's high temperature Nomex gasket. I got it off of Amazon. Really great stuff. Works really well. Haven't had any issues with it yet. I've used it on my Kamado egg cooker. So yeah, gives a really nice tight seal, as you can see here. Now, the cooking grates and the fire basket. The fire basket's made out of, you can see here, it's made out of 3/4 inch number 9, 3/4 inch number 9 expanded steel, steel mesh. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Regardless, it's a 3/4 inch number 9 flattened, I think is what the guys at the steel shop told me it was called. I picked up some 1x1 inch steel square mesh. This stuff doesn't work very well. You can see here it's making a lot of noise. It's warped a bit. It came warped, so that stuff was really cheap. I think I'm going to repurpose that and use it as a charcoal sifter, and picked up some more of this number 9 flattened. This stuff here I found works really well, and I've read on some of the barbecue grilling boards and stuff, forums, that that's the stuff a lot of guys use. And I did grill on the one on the bottom here, and it worked awesome. Worked really nice. 3/4 inch bar stop, or a 3/4 inch angle, is what's holding these grates on. I don't have anything on the grates. The grates just slide in and out. They're stiff enough as it is. But yeah, that's about it for the inside. I've tested this and it works really well, holds heat awesome. And when I open up the cooker, I smoked some ribs, and when I open up the cooker and then close the doors again, I did not lose any heat at all, and the temperature was fairly cool. It was around, I think, 5 or 60 degrees centigrade. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. Maybe like 40, I think, something like that. I could be wrong. But yeah, that's pretty much the smoker, or I should say Kamado square cooker. Kamado box cooker, maybe I'll call it. It's not egg shaped. It's a square, or at least it's inspired by it, I like to think. But the big difference between this and a regular smoker is it might look like a regular smoker, but again, the thermal mass and the weight of the steel really sets this apart from, say, the ones you get at Home Depot that are really cheap. I estimate that the total weight of this is about 175 pounds, maybe 200 pounds, including the clay / kitty litter. So it's a hefty beast, so it's not going to be really affected by wind, that's for sure, unlike some other smokers that I've had in the past. So anyways, if you have any questions on this, or if you're inspired to build your own, I'd be really curious to hear from you, so post it in the comments below. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I'm super happy with how well this came out. I'm stoked to do a little bit more with it, and if I get a chance, I'll post some more videos. The other thing I am going to work on is I'm also going to make a PID controller for this, maybe, and to automate the airflow intake in it. So that could be a project in the future. I have the PID controller now that I'm playing with, but I might not get to that for a couple weeks, or if not months. So anyways, thanks for watching, and if you like these videos, subscribe to my channel, and check out more projects that I'll have coming in the future.